I want to make this video as quick as possible. You'll know from the timeline below whether or not I succeeded. I am a big fan of the A7C, as you might know from watching this channel. I've had it now for just over a year, like literally 1 year anniversary. Oh my god, well done us. And it's my favourite camera I've ever owned. I now own the A7S III, and I was actually going to make a whole video on this. Let me know if you want to hear it. But I prefer my A7C to my A7S III. There are certain tricks up the A7S III's sleeve, but for the most part, if I'm heading out for the day to go shoot some stuff, be it video or photos, the A7C is coming with me, the A7S III is staying at home. I reserve the A7S III for all my professional work, and I thought I'd be reaching for it a lot more in all of my everyday YouTube work and other content, but for me, the A7C is just, it's in my hand. As soon as I need something, I'm just like, yeah, this is coming. Smaller, it's lighter, it's more efficient in my opinion. I have a better time with it. But that is not to say that there aren't some improvements that could be made. And in an ideal world, Sony are going to make an iteration on the A7C and bring us an A7C Mark II. If and when this might be, there's no real way of knowing, but I definitely have a few things that I would like to see change, and then a few things that I would like to stay the same, because I don't want it to lose the A7C's charm. So we'll start with all the things that I want to change, because I imagine you'll feel the same way, and then we're going to go into all the things that I'd like to keep the same. The first thing I would like to change, which I think most people can agree with if you've used the A7C, is to improve the EVF. The EVF on this camera is, in my opinion, a nice small EVF. The lack of protection from outside light and the overall low brightness, lower resolution of the EVF just makes it feel really subpar for a camera with this level of performance. Even just being able to have an easily adaptable eye cup would be fantastic, because if you look at the old A6000s, A6300, they came with that ludicrously big, like Labrador ear of an eye cup on this tiny EVF, on this tiny camera, but you could take it off. So I never used the EVF on those cameras. I always had them sort of on a tripod just for video. So I would take the eye cup off, but then on the A7C, it sort of feels like the reverse is true, and we have this not so good EVF that suffers because it doesn't have an eye cup option. The next thing I would like to see improved, it's sort of in two parts, is an improved menu system. So all the menu system that came out on the A7S III, which came out at a similar time to the A7C, which is really annoying that it didn't have the menu system. Come on. Sure, if there is going to be an A7C Mark II, that's got to be a given that they'll sort that out. Following on from that, I think having the improved screen of the A7S III would be fantastic. Give us that slightly nicer, brighter, higher resolution A7S III screen onto the A7C Mark II. The next four are all sort of lumped under one key thing, and that is give us the A7 IV's sensor. And within that, give us the full 33 megapixel full frame sensor, give us the full 422 10-bit recording, and give us that sweet 4K 60p in Super 35 mode. Or if you want to just like throw a curveball, yeah, give us full frame 60p in this camera. Last one for the new things I would like. Not dual cards, I don't really care about dual cards. Give us the option for CF Express, because if we're going to be doing 422 10-bit, that just makes sense. If they did give us 2 SD card slots, I would be okay with it, obviously, but I'm worried that would then lead to increasing the size of the body, which leads me on to all of the things I would like to keep the same, because I don't like change. So, number one, keeping the body the exact same. If it got a little bit deeper, I'd be okay with that, but not taller and not wider. I know I said in the things that I want to change, that I want to change the EVF and make it better. Again, I want to reiterate, I want it to stay in the same place. I want it to stay the same size. I just want them to engineer a way to have a better shielding from exterior light. I'd also like to see all of the ports and doors stay the same, because I love this little flicky switch thing. Like when you open the SD card slot, you flick one little switch, it pops out. I'd like to also see the record button on top stay the exact same. I'm sure that will, because it's happened now on the A7S III and on the A7 IV, I believe. That should stay the same. I don't want that to change. And lastly, anticlimactically, I just want it to stay the same size, same charm. I just want the internals to get a bit of a refresh. Ergonomically, this camera ticks all the boxes for me. At first, as someone with quite big hands, I was like, oh, am I gonna like this? Am I just leave it on a tripod all the time? But once I picked up the small rig cage and had it in there, which to me is like, what, a £30 investment or something like that? That plus the Peak Design anchor for the wrist strap has made it my favorite little camera just to go around shooting some YouTube stuff with, some street photography with, and just everything. client jobs, everything I need to do. The A7S III has been a good addition for me, don't get me wrong, it's worth all the hype. It's almost too powerful for just everyday stuff. Like, you don't want to be whapping out like a $4 grand camera just to shoot a bit of fun around a city with your friends. You want to be able to pull up something, it's a bit smaller, you know, it packs a punch, but it's not distracting and it doesn't attract too much attention. There's times on a set with a client where you want them to think, wow, they've got a lot of kit, but that's like, you know, 2 out of 10 times you're using a camera. The majority of the time, you just want it to be sort of unobtrusive, easy decision to bring along with you, especially when you pair it up with like that 40mm lens that I've got, that 40mm 2.5G lens. Bring that along the A7C. Oh, you've made yourself a Fuji style Sony. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I just wanted to get out my hopes and dreams for this camera so that I can manifest it into existence for us all. If you've enjoyed this video, drop a like and comment anything down below, anything you think I missed, any changes you want to see, anything you want to stay the same, and I will see you in the next one.